When I came to Montana State University, I was so excited to be in a place where Indian Education for All is a statewide mandate. It's supported by policymakers, it's supported by administrators and teachers, and the difference was just enormous. I couldn't believe how teachers, even who had never had any exposure to Indigenous histories or experiences themselves in their schooling experience, were doing a pretty solid job, and it's partly because of the resources available, the professional development available, and partly because there's just a culture of the program here in Montana that we don't see in other states. I think there are so many reasons for implementation of Indian Education for All. The research definitely shows that Indigenous children and youth tend to benefit from programs like Indian Education for All. But it's not just the Indigenous youth, it's also non-Native youth who really benefit. As a social studies teacher educator, I recognize the importance of having accurate experiences, histories, representations of Montana's history and the history before Montana existed. And a lot of times we don't get that in any other way. And so Indian Education for All really helps frame the stories that are being shared in schools so that students, all students, and teachers learn about the accurate representations of Montana's Indigenous peoples as well as Indigenous peoples beyond the state. Something else that makes Indian Education for All really unique is the collaborative nature of the program and how often and rigorously community members from different reservations and different tribal communities have been involved in the creation of materials, the dissemination of those materials, the guidance in terms of professional development workshops and so on. And that's really powerful because it allows the Office of Public Instruction, K-12 schools, universities, and so on to build relationships with those community partners and do a better job all around in terms of serving all of our students. There are many things you could do as an educator or a scholar or a community member in terms of implementing Indian Education for All. You can, first of all, start by exploring the resources that are available through the Office of Public Instruction. So many great opportunities for learning about your own content area in a new way, in a way that maybe you haven't ever thought about before. And resources that include fully detailed lesson plans, reading materials, teacher guides, and so forth. So out of all the states that are starting to do this kind of work, Montana remains far ahead in terms of having actual resources available. Something else you can do is attend state-level conferences or workshops, and a lot of times at those conferences and workshops there are quite a few free materials available for you to actually take with you and take back to your classrooms or schools or communities. Another option is to work on a course at the university. So Montana State University, for instance, has several classes that address Indian Education for All, some that are just more basic and informative, and some that are geared toward teacher prep and actually helping educators learn how to implement IEFA in their own classroom. And then of course you can always do more reading. There's some great resources out there, books and materials, more and more research that's happening surrounding Indian Education for All specifically.